She's also been a founder with a passion for technology, for making a positive impact on the world, and for supporting startups who are building innovative products like solve real problems. She's keen on the role of culture and of diversity and inclusion in the technology industry and a strong advocate for tech women entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming. We have with us the Managing Director, Microsoft for Startup, Madhurima Agarwal. Can we please welcome him with a big round of applause? A warm welcome to you. Our next speaker about to join us on stage, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us a communication and cross-cultural business professional with many years of experience across South and Southeast Asia. Throughout her professional journey, her primary goal has been to strengthen collaboration between Poland, EU, and India while advocating for gender equality within the business landscape. Well, her professional career has led to significant leadership roles in India, where she served as the head of the Polish Investment and Trade Agency and as a principal consultant at the Europe India Project Advisory Company in New Delhi. Well, it was in the capacities that her contribution garnered recognition in 2021 when she was honored by the Europe India Center for Business and Industry as one of the top under 40 Europe India leaders instrumental in shaping the future of EU-India relations. Please help me welcome Wiki's India EU Business Council, President and Poland India Business Advisor, Ada Dindo. A big round of applause for her. A warm welcome. Our next speaker about to join us on stage, another inspirational woman. We have with us currently serving as the Vice President of Invest India with close to 9 years of experience in market entry and business expansion strategy. She is leading investment promotion in the European region along with facilities to companies in the consumer goods industry. She has led multiple public-private engagements at a global platform as a part of the outreach strategy to highlight investment opportunities and drive FDI into India. Additionally, she has also worked in close capacity with the Office of the Prime Minister of India with senior officials from federal ministers and state governments to work on policy and develop an investor outreach strategy. May I please welcome with a bigger round of applause, Vice President Invest India, Varda Taneja. A warm welcome to you. And our next speaker joining us on stage, we have with us a social entrepreneur working for the past 10 years to provide a solution for the massive unemployable youth of the Indian subcontinent. She conceptualized the first mobile container skill schools in the country and heads one of the largest initiatives for skilling logistics. She's the chairman of Wildlife for Delhi 2023-24 Young Fiki Ladies organization and actively working towards creating an ecosystem that empowers young women entrepreneurs and professionals. She's the director of Safe Express, India's largest logistics and supply chain providers. Also, she's an author of Horn Please, which researched and provided a photo easy on the lives of truck drivers in India. She was BW 40 under 40 entrepreneurs among India's today's 50 most powerful change makers under 50. A big round of applause for Divya Jain, the co-founder at SECO, Director Safe Express. A warm welcome to you, Divya. And now it's my honor and a privilege to be moderating this session. While I'm sure a lot of people know my name by now, but this is Priya Shramankar, the MC of this event and a moderator for this session. I'm a corporate MC for all corporate events, business conclaves, and summits across industry. And like I said, a privilege and an honor for me to join you all on stage. Check 1, 2. All right, so firstly, many congratulations to you all and a warm welcome to the Data Acceleration and Transformation Expo. Firstly, can we begin this conversation with a bigger round of applause for all the wonderful women sitting in this room, on this stage with us. All right, so today our topic of discussion, check 1, 2. All right, thank you. So our topic today is in leadership breaking barriers or still navigating a rocky road? Well, a very imperative topic on women in leadership. So I believe that when we talk about women in leadership, I believe that women today are not just surviving, but they are thriving. And there have been significant contributions to the industry, to the company, and as a country on a whole. And with that, reminisce a very famous quote by my favorite women leader, Michelle Obama, who says that no country can truly flourish if it stifles the potential of its women. So, on that note, we'd like to begin with this conversation. Well, I believe when I got your profiles of all our women leaders here, and I went through the same, I believe that you'll have some extraordinary achievements in your careers. But that being said, I'm sure that this journey has not been an easy breezy and a rosy road. It's been full of challenges. It's been maybe lack of opportunities, lack of recognition in your own careers. So I would like to begin with Madhurima, you, and then we'll continue with all our other women leaders sitting on stage. If you all could share with us your journey, your professional journeys of your success, that includes your challenges as well, and very, very important, the pivotal moment that shaped your professional trajectory. So we can begin with you, Madhurima, if you can share your journey with all of us here.
Thank you. First of all, a big thanks to TressCon for inviting us here and giving us this opportunity to share my journey. By Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. And the lines which says, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less taken, and that has made all the difference. I was born and grew up in a small town then called Ranchi, which then was not really, something that was known widely. Of course, today all of us know about Ranchi because of the captain MS Dhoni being from Ranchi. But then it was a small place, and I, being an person from there with all the fighting spirit that people tend to have, I started my first startup when I was an undergrad with my love for technology. And very quickly, my ambition was I want to build a company like Infosys, because Infosys was the dream company then. And somebody told me, to do that, you need to become a management graduate. And I said, okay, that's what it's going to be then. And I went on to do my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, I think with God's grace and my parents' support. My father was my first angel investor, by the way, to start this company. I could crack IMA in the first try itself. And once I was there, it just opened up a world of opportunity. I went into investment banking for the first decade, a complete switch from technology. But that grounding, that gave me a glimpse of how vast the universe is. What are the different careers? What are the things that go into making us successful companies? And that's when I decided to come back to India and be part of the startup ecosystem, the vibrant startup ecosystem that everybody talks about today. I was fortunate enough to work in some large startups. And today I'm an angel investor, I'm a mentor, I'm a consultant to multiple startups. And of course, Microsoft for Startups has been kind enough to give me this opportunity to support startups in multiple ways. The journey has not been easy. It's been challenging. I think being a woman in India has always been tough. I know there's a lot of initiatives that are improving that. Still a long way to go. But what I would say is that the belief that one has in themselves, the belief that somebody else has in you, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's your colleagues at work, that's what makes all the difference.
Well, multiple hats donned. A big round of applause for that inspirational journey, Madhurima. Very, very well said. Well, coming back to Ada, if you could just let us know about your journey, challenges faced, the success, and one important thing, that one pivot moment that completely changed your professional trajectory.
Thank you so much. I feel very privileged to be seated here next to so many inspiring women and share my story. And the idea behind Vicky's India EU Business Council is the initiative, a platform for women supporting India EU business relations we aim to highlight and speak about the achievements women have within this business corridor, to highlight young professionals who are aspiring to do change or influence in their EU business corridor. Varda here also is a founding member of the council. We have members from all over India and all over EU. And how it started. I set up the council 2 years ago in response or because of my professional experience in business ecosystem. I started working in India. I've been living in India for over 8 years. And I took a role of head of Polish Investment and Trade Agency quite young because I was just 27. So I'm not even still thinking about India. That's age matters here a little bit more than in EU and in Poland. But even for Poland, it was quite early. I got this amazing exposure because of my previous long experience in India. And also, I was studying for 5 years Indian studies, learning languages, trying to achieve or get a role here. And then I entered business world. And it was not easy. It was very challenging, very interesting. But it was also very boring because very often I was the only woman in the room, the only woman in a panel discussion. And of course, the visibility, the attention was there, but just the discussion, I found that it is not diverse enough. I also joined later EU-India project advisory company. And again, being with a little bit more focusing on tech industry startups, I found it's not only within the government, within diplomacy, but in many different sectors, we are not represented enough. And I was wondering what I can do. I like to make an impact. I like to change something and do something meaningful. And because of great contact here, great network of women doing incredible things, I thought that let's do something to speak about them. Let's unite ourselves to support each other, not against anyone, but just to bring the visibility, bring us more in the public debate. And that's the story behind the council. And I'm extremely grateful for all the support I receive also here in India from the professionals here who see the need, the necessity to have a more inclusive and diverse debate. One of the examples is today's event, because Viki's India EU Business Council is a women empowerment partner of DATE. So it's quite incredible because I've never seen before this kind of partnership with the conference organizers. And I think it's great because what we've done, we suggested speakers, we invited speakers to be involved in the panel discussions. Of course, there's always more to be done, but it's already a great first step. And what I'm saying is not about like having a separate women leadership panel, which is great, which is super interesting, but to have women in all the panels, in all the debates, all the sectors, across the industries. That's basically what we try to change and what we would like to see more, both in the EU and in India. I hope I answered a little bit.
Yes, definitely. Lovely journey. Can we have a big round of applause for her as well? Well, Varda, coming to you, if you could just share your story with all of us.
Sure. So I'm a Delhi girl. I was fortunate enough. I had very supportive parents all throughout. I had the opportunity to get a great education, and I really consider myself fortunate for that. I went to London for my masters at London School of Economics, but I always chose to come back. I came back because I believed in this India opportunity. I was passionate about what my country can offer to the world and the opportunity that we hold for business entrepreneurs, for corporations to do bigger and better things.
A round of applause for that statement first up. Everyone.
Thank you. So when I joined Invest India, and I was a very young leader in this public policy and business space, right? I was thrown every single day into rooms for conversation with senior old men, traditionally, CEOs, chairmen, vice presidents of large corporates, organizations, again, traditionally men, rooms full of policymakers, bureaucrats, government officials, again, mostly men. So it was extremely hard for me to day on day, to prove myself in conversation with them through the knowledge or the expertise that I was developing day on day to make a point, to make myself heard. So when you say breaking barriers, there isn't one pivotal moment that you're breaking a barrier, right? You're breaking a barrier every single time you're in a room having a conversation, trying to put your point forth, trying to engage with people to listen to you also. Even that is breaking a barrier every single day. So I've been a part of this 10-year long journey almost now, where I've been playing a pivotal role in shaping public policy, in shaping, inbound FDI regimes of the country. And it's been great. It's been extremely fulfilling. But through all of this, I have, made it a point to make sure that a woman's voice is heard everywhere. And I've tried to play my small part by being a part of the India EU Business Council with Ada, or Divya's Because She Can initiative as well. And that is an endeavor that I continue to strive to help women's voices being heard everywhere. And there, in fact, is a lot more to be spoken about women in leadership. When you say that we're breaking barriers, but why is there a barrier? Why is it that we're not being able to achieve what we want to or reach where we want to? What are corporations, the government, policymakers, um, companies, entrepreneurs doing to help us break that barrier? What kind of programs are we, enabling to get women to be in leadership positions? Do we want to talk about, career change programs, career break programs for women? When women take maternity leave, they want to come back. Why do they feel they have a setback? Why is it that corporations are hesitant to hire women in senior roles because they feel they have other responsibilities? So the conversation is so much larger than that about these barriers, because there is a perception issue that we need to work upon, that we need to change. And that will start right from each and every person being involved in it. And we will all play a small part of it, but it's a much larger discussion for us to have.
Very, very well said. A big round of applause for Varda. So, just one question when you said that women voice needs to be heard. So, just before we come to you, Divya, just a question I'd like to ask you: is the scenario changed? Are women, when we talk about the corporate world, is the scenario changed yet? Like, are women leading the boardrooms, and is women voice being heard?
I think it's changing, definitely, but you still see very little pink in that ocean of navy blue. So it's actually,
Absolutely.
I actually share this as like, it's my new hashtag. Pink is the new hashtag. Pink is the new navy blue, and hashtag power of the pack, because we all of us women, as women leaders, we are the wolf pack who need to drive this change further and further.
Absolutely. So I think one incident that I remember from one of my last event that I hosted, when there was a similar question that was asked, and with respect to all people here and the gentlemen here, it was said that women are being hired or they are seen in boardrooms because they are nurturing. But I think more than that, I think if women who are very cantankerous and if they are hired, they will be at the top echelons of the corporate power. So that's what my belief is. So again, a big round of applause for Varda. And I think when you said that it's not just that big moment of the big picture, but it's like every single day we are breaking barriers. That is what matters the most. So thank you again. So coming back to you, Divya, if you can share your story with us, those pivotal moments of success, the challenges, has that been a rocky road?
Thank you so much, and really thank you so much for having me here. And most of all, for the conference organizers of having this panel in the first place. And Ada, thank you for being the women empowerment partner here. These conversations are important and extremely relevant, and I think this is how change will ultimately be created. Um, so, for my experience, there's a lot of designations against me, so I'm going to share 3 experiences with you. The first is when I started out. I started out 16 years ago in logistics. I'd come back. I'd studied in the UK. I'd come back. I just got married. My father-in-law ran a large logistics company. It's called Safe Express. Fun fact, my mother-in-law had never been allowed to go to office. Logistics की जगह नहीं है. So whether it's trucking and warehousing, oh my God, it's unsafe. It's not a place where women are allowed. So 16 years back, I was one of the first women who actually entered into a hub, into a warehouse, despite the raised eyebrows. And you know what? It was incredibly safe. What's been exciting is that in the past 15 years, I set up a network of schools where we've been training young boys and young girls. In the past 15 years, I've trained over 30,000 women who today work in logistics and transportation.
A round of applause for that.
But it's not just about women because we're all business owners. We all want to know the facts. So this is not Desh Seva. This is not something you're doing good for the community. Fact of the matter is, hubs that were run by women are more efficient. The retention of the employees was higher than the males who are working in the same space. If I talk about figures, a truck that's loaded by a woman was 14% more efficient than that was being done by her male counterpart. So anyway, the fact of the matter is women need to be in spaces and there's absolutely no space, whether that's aerospace, logistics, tech, Invest India, Poland, you need women everywhere. And when you get them on the stage, you will see your productivity increase. And these are facts that we've actually seen and experienced at my journey with Safe Educate. My second experience would be with Seco. Seco is a startup that I co-founded. Madhurima is actually one of my retail investors. It's a edtech startup. It's an online skilling platform that we created during COVID. COVID hit the world. My center shut down, and we had to go online. The startup ecosystem has actually been very friendly to women. So, hats off to that. What we found was that India has the second largest number of women learners in the world. So what we found is technology is actually enabling more and more women to learn. Gig work or temporary work is now not just a part-time job, it's an actual vocation. And what we found is there's an immense potential for more women to get upskilled and to be a part of the ecosystem, which can really improve productivity of corporates if we can encourage and make this more systemized. Finally, I talk about my third experience, and this has been, I've been heading FICCI ladies organization. FICCI has about 10,500 young women entrepreneurs across the country. And there were two realizations here. Women need networks. I mean, I think there's a lot of business and a lot of the men sitting here, a lot of the work that you did was not in your meetings, but it was in the coffee lounge. It's about catching up. And when you're talking about what's happening in your life, women need these networks. So we need to encourage more and more women networks. And whether that's Wiki, whether that's YFlow, these are incredibly important. Second, legislation. India is the only country with a CSR Act. We celebrate years of the CSR Act today. Maybe India can be a country which actually has policies that encourage more women in the workplace. And maternity leave is not a woman-friendly policy, right? It just forces you to take women out. So let's talk to the women, have more women talk about what they need, what they want, incentivize companies who have women working for them. And the facts will prove this. Boards, and we spoke about boards which have women perform 26% better than the ones who don't. A group's productivity is 10x when you put a woman in the group of people that you're talking about. So I think, like I said, it's been a fascinating journey. There have been challenges, there have been barriers, but I think the way forward is for all of us to come together and create an ecosystem where we have role models like you wonderful women, and definitely policies that encourage more and more women to come to the forefront.
Well, many congratulations on that journey. Well, I think it's about making that communication, the conversations need to happen, which will ultimately lead to the change. So I think we've heard some beautiful journeys on this stage, but I have one or two questions that I would like to ask, and any of you all can answer that. So, first up, when we talk about promotions and when we in organizations, do women in corporates have a hard time getting promotions today? Is it still there in the corporate world?
I don't think so, really. At least the corporates that I've been part of, almost all promotions and appraisals are merit based, right? So I don't think that it's hard per se. However, there are a lot of factors that go into when you get promoted, and it's not me, there's a lot of research which says that women are evaluated on performance while men get evaluated on potential, right? Which means it's not a level playing field, which is why women have to work doubly harder to prove themselves to get those promotions. Having said that, a recent change which is very apparent in the corporate circles is that they've taken this very seriously, the research, and they've committed to the fact that they will have equal representation. All corporates worth their salt have it, like, all the hiring will happen
Very
irrespective
important.
of, caste, creed, religion, gender, and everything. But they are now taking a conscious view of the fact that there need to be equal representation in senior levels as well, which is why they are kind of promoting that, right? So I don't think it's hard. Women, it's just that women need to work harder. It's that, and period. There's nothing beyond it. And I have been fortunate enough to have a lot of male allies in the workplace, right? Who've encouraged me, who've shared with me, who've made me part of the networks that you were talking about, right? Which have opened doors where you get to know what are the opportunities available. I've had male sponsors who've actually talked about me, given me these opportunities which I would have never known, because those conversations have happened in closed doors, as Divya was mentioning. So there's need for that. It's changing, a long way to go, but yes, we have to work harder to prove ourselves. That's not changed yet.
Well, that is true. That is true. And I think one last question that I would like to ask is so, a piece of advice you'd like to give to the next generation of female leaders. Maybe Varda, if you can go ahead.
Maybe all of us can give a
Yeah,
little
if,
two
I think if
cents on
everyone
that.
can
It'd be
give one
nice.
piece of advice,
But
that'll
I
be great.
think one piece of advice which I have also got very recently, I had the privilege of meeting Miss Leena Nair, who is the global CEO of Chanel now, who started out, you know, her journey from a small town in India, and today is leading one of the largest luxury fashion corporations in the world. And it always comes down to, don't listen to that small voice in your head, just drown it. Drown that small voice in your head that is doubting you, that is questioning you, that is thinking, oh, do you think I can do this? Will I be able to pull it off? Am I good enough? Because what you need to know is that you can do it all. So believe in yourself, because you can achieve everything that you set out to do if you have that faith and that belief.
Very well said. Madhurima, if you could add something.
I I think the main important thing is that you need to believe in yourself, whether somebody else does or not. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Believe in yourself and find someone who will believe in you when you're losing that trust and belief in yourself. That's very important. When you're down in the dumps, when you're doubting yourself, have someone who will pull you through and believe in you, because belief can move mountains.
I think Varda said the best what I wanted to express today. But also what I would like to suggest is like network approach to people, because really professionals are open to help, open to talk to you, open to advice. And being a young woman or young man doesn't matter. There are people around you who can help you, and be brave enough. Try different ways. Believe that you can make it, and know what you really want to achieve. And talk with people around, and look for people who can support you. what the Varda said, that there's a power in a community, there's a power in pact, there's a power in a group. So maybe as an individual, it may be a bit scary, it may be a bit too soon or too new, or you don't know how to do it. In a group, in a pack, find similar minded people, same minded people, and they will support your journey and try this way.
Well, very well said, Ada. Thank you so much. Divya, could you add, please?
Resonate with all the panelists. I would really like to stress on what Madhurima said is women have to work harder. It will always be a little bit harder for you, but you know what? It's okay. Raise your hand more. It's fine. You're not being aggressive. It's not too much. You have to, at some point, let people know that you're ready for this. A lot of times, when it comes to promotions, when it comes to trips, when it takes about additional projects, raise your hands because you can. Right? So I think believe in yourself and just be a little bit more aggressive, and you're not being too aggressive. I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back. We can do it, and I think we just believe in ourselves. And again, the world's a beautiful place, and irrespective of what this panel made you think, I think men have actually been some of my strongest supporters. So huge round of applause for the men in the room who are a part of this conversation. And really, I think we're all in it together, and we're all supporting each other to make a better ecosystem and make a better world for ourselves and for our children and for our daughters.
Well, very well. Yes, we all are in for it. So a big round of applause for that. And now, before we open the ground for question and answer, or maybe women sharing their stories with us, I'd like to throw across a rapid fire. So brace yourselves up. They're very easy, not to worry. So brace yourselves up for a rapid fire. The only condition for this rapid fire is that it has to be rapid and full of fire, right? So we'll begin with Madhurima, and then y'all can answer it accordingly. So the first question is to Madhurima: is describe your personality in one word.
Ambitious.
Ambitious. Okay, Ada.
Brave.
Confident.
Passionate.
Passionate. Lovely. Okay, so that was quick. Then that was rapid, and that was full of fire as well. Okay, Madhurima, your guilty pleasure.
Sweets.
Okay, Ada.
What was the question? Sorry.
Guilty pleasure.
Traveling too much.
Okay, Varda.
I think, yeah, desserts.
And Divya.
Netflix.
Netflix. Okay, lovely. Okay, my next question is that one bizarre or exciting rumor that you've heard about yourself in your maybe current or your previous organization. Madhurima.
No, we'll start with Divya first.
Okay, Divya first.
They said that I can read minds and I can mind controlled. I don't know if it's a rumor. There might be some truth in it also.
So is that true?
We'll leave it up to.
Okay, the.
I think the bizarre rumor is that every 6 months, my team feels that I'm going to quit my job because I'm going to get married. It's absurd, but actually everybody believes it because it seems like such a common practice.
Well, that's lovely. Okay, and Ada, one rumor about you.
It's good because now I work for myself, so it's a little bit different. But I really don't like this, what you've just said. It's also how many times men receive this question. So when I quit my job, my last job, everyone were asking the question, so now what? Whatever I want to do by myself. The first question was, so maybe the time for kids, maybe the time for marriage, whatever. How many times men receive this question? No, they would be asked a question, oh, you're gonna start your new adventure. No. So that's what I experienced recently.
Okay, Madhurima.
My team thinks I do whatever I want and never ask for permission.
Okay, and my last question is that given a chance to invite 3 top women leaders for dinner at your home, who would that be? Divya.
I
Three
would
women
love,
leaders.
I would love to take all three of them home tonight. So
Okay, so Vardhana, you can't tell that you are going to invite these three people. Any other three women leaders?
That's so sweet. Divya, we're ready. We're ready. I think it would be Michelle Obama, Lena Nair, Indra Nooyi.
So please invite me as well. I'd love to be there. Yes, Ada.
I agree with Divya. I would like to invite more women, not just three, and all of us, and also the strong women who are on the top of the corporates, on the top of the organization. So no three names.
Lovely. Madhurima?
The first three women I see when I walk into the Microsoft office.
That's nice. Big round of applause for their wonderful answers and that conversation for all our powerful women in this room. And now I think we're open to questions or women who can share their stories with us. Well, this is the platform. This is an opportunity for you all. So, yes, can we please pass the mic then? Okay, so we were to have women to ask questions, but yes, we have a man who's going to ask us question or maybe share his story. So again, yes, sir, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you. You're very inspirational. I'm Vikas. I work in Berlin, Germany. I'm the CTO of a food tech startup. And as part of the job, we have to do a lot of hiring. And since I lead engineering, so as I lead engineering, a lot of applications we get from Asia. Think of Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. Not many women apply. The number of applications we receive from women is very low. But when we do, most of them do come from these countries, right? But when I talk to those women and find out the reason for them to move out of India or their country coming to Berlin and Germany, most of the time they say because my husband or my partner is moving, not for because they want to do it. And when I dig deeper, there's a tendency, at least in the Indian family value system, that the women has to have a certain path. They have to have certain age when they have to get married, they have to bear children, they have to run a family, and so on and so forth. But not so much for the men. So as we talk about the leaders here in the corporate to do their part, how do you think of the Indian family traditional value systems? How do they contribute to this? Because women are brought with a different mindset than the men, and they're limiting the potential. So how can that bridge happen?
See, that change has to come by everybody's support, right? If a woman is getting married, in all mostly not always, but mostly she's marrying a man only. If she's having a child, so is the man, right? So why don't we start with this change and start supporting the women with equal opportunities, right? It will not happen overnight. It is, millions of years of, it's been ingrained in the DNA, right? Even when we read literature, it says the woman is the nurturer and the man is this. So there is an element. We don't need to change the basic nature, but as long as the family just starts doing it for themselves, this change will happen in society. My my request to all the employers is that, make it easy for the women. Don't ask them to move if they are not able to move, but create an environment where they can operate from wherever they are. That's where change will start. And every time a woman becomes financially independent, she gets that little bit more power in her family. Believe it or not, right? Whoever earns has that say. And power is where the money is, right? It happens. So every time more women start working, they become financially independent. That change will happen in the family dynamics, in the societal dynamics. And hopefully, at some point of time, we will not even have to talk about this issue that whether you're hiring a woman or whether women is sitting on a senior leader position or not, because it should be gender agnostic. I don't know when, hundreds of years later, but probably it should happen sometime. And the change has to start at the family unit level.
I'll just add to that. The reason why traditionally you've had women as the caretakers is because that was the need of the society. खाना कौन बनाएगा, किचन कौन संभालेगा, Who will manage the house? Look around you. We live in a different world. There's so much technology around you. There's so much, like you can order your food. Food doesn't take more than half an hour. Your houses can be cleaned much faster. There's a lot more support available. So the world is changing. So, yes, traditionally, 40 years back, for my mother to not be in the house was very hard. But today, I can be a very, very present mother, even while I'm talking at this conference today. So, I think it's, date with technology. Technology actually allows us to make this inclusive world.
I will also add one more thing, representation, examples, role models, everywhere where it's possible, because we know about it, like small kids are raised and they see where they can go. When we see more female speakers at the events, when we see CEOs, we know it's possible to go there. But if the room is full of men, it's a little bit more difficult to imagine yourself when you're starting your career, for example, how to be at their place. So that's what I say. Representation matters a lot, diversity matters a lot, and inclusion matters a lot everywhere. When it comes to business, family, also the roles, and small groups of wherever it's possible to include.
Very well said. I hope that question is answered.
Thank you. You're all the great role models. So thank you so much.
Yes. We have one more hand there. Yes, I think we have more questions from men coming in. Okay. Yes, one hand there at my center. Yes, we can go ahead with the question, sir. Not a problem. Yes.
It's okay, ladies first.
Hi, thank you. So, as I can see that, the headline says women leadership, breaking barriers or still navigating a rocky road. So I would just say that at organizations still we see, so as a woman myself, I mean, just giving a brief intro, I started as an engineer working for, one of the second largest companies in India, and started doing my coding journey with the second safest bank in the world, that's Royal Bank of Canada. But then, yes, somehow post my marriage and, the cycle that we all go, so I had to take the back seat, and so I quit, though I love my job still. And but then the reason for switch was something which was a rocky thing. Like it was, the reason for switching was that I cannot go on site because I have a child, right? So I have to be where my husband is posted. So that still goes on. Yes, I do see there's a change in me and my mother, of course, the generation thing. As Divya said, that we women hold ourselves back. I really like that. So, we as a women, we do hold ourselves back on those things. But yes, times are changing, but there still needs a lot of push. Because when I see the, HR yet in the companies, when they discuss, so when we are with the senior management and we discuss, that, acha isko hire kare, she's newly married, so now she'll be having a child. So she'll be taking, a maternity leave, or maybe, this is, they might be planning a second child, or, this is a single mother, so she will have her additional responsibilities. So why that? So it's always a rocky road. I don't, with all due respect to all the men in the house, right? I do understand, again, stating that it's really true that men are our supporters, right? Be it in any form, they could be fathers, friends, husbands, all roles. But yes, it's always a rocky road. So I would just like to ask you that especially Ada, that when we take the entrepreneur side, right? There are women who are looking at going into this entrepreneur journey, right? So in this journey, um, do you think that the investors especially, right, there is a thought process when we approach the investors as well, when men are approaching, or when we go as with the P&L and everything. So what do you think would be one that special take that would take us that would give one-fold extra advantage while we approach the investors that way?
I think anyone from the panel can take that.
I'm a bit surprised because I'm not really entrepreneur, so maybe I will pass the question to someone who is actually.
Sure, definitely. Maybe Varda can answer,
Vidya
or anyone from the panel.
Vidya.
Sure.
I mean,
I will answer this from a entrepreneur's seat. There's someone called Houdini. Have you heard of Houdini?
Yes.
So he was a warrior, and every time he went to war, he would land on an island, and then he would burn his ships. So the soldiers who were with him knew that they could either go forward or die and perish. To be honest, if you're a woman and if you're an investor and you go to an investor and you're trying to raise money, he or she needs to know that this is it. That it doesn't matter if it's my husband or my kid or my mother-in-law or my father-in-law, I am here for you. And I think that's the kind of passion, motivation we need to have in ourselves in the work that we need to do, that this is it. And you are investing yourself. It can't be a whim. So when you invest yourself, your time, energy, and your own money, your own jewelry, I think the other person will be convinced. And I think that's the kind of dedication that probably men have when they go to raise money. And I think that's that's literally the same that an investor is looking for you.
Right? You just have to make it look like you have nothing to lose. This is it.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A big round of applause again, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're running out of time, so I believe people have more questions and hands coming up. But if we can, I would request you to take those questions offline. Yes. So again, a big round of applause. Okay, I think this. So since Divya's asked me to take one question.